Vamdemon is one of the most significant villains in Digimon. While many villains came too close to achieving their goals, Vamdemon's journey was filled with horrifying events. In appearance and name, Vamdemon is based on one of the oldest monsters, the vampire. Vampires are evil mythological creatures who regularly drink human blood to keep their immortality. They usually have an aristocratic demeanor and sensual effect on their victims. With their sharp fangs, they penetrate the victim's neck and drain their blood, turning them too into vampires. They hunt at night since sunlight weakens their powers. Some have abilities to morph into bats or wolves. They can't see their reflection in mirrors and they don't cast any shadows. Vampires have many characteristics across various legends. Most people associate vampires with Count Dracula from Bram Stoker's novel published in 1897. However, the history of vampires began long before this book. They evolved from traditional beliefs provoked by fear that the dead can somehow harm the living even after being buried. Stories of creatures who attack people at night and drain their blood appear as early as in ancient Greece. For the modern concept of a vampire, we don't have to travel far from Greece. It is said that the vampire as we know it today was conceived on the Balkan Peninsula, where for centuries people believed that the vengeful dead come back from their grave to prey on the living. In fact, the word vampire is of Serbian origin, vampir being the only Serbian word used in all world languages. The oldest case of a vampire encounter was also recorded in Serbia in 1725, reported by Austrian newspapers of the time. The alleged vampire, by the name of Petar Blagojević, was considered to be around 300 years old. To understand Vamdemon is to understand vampires, because he's not only based on them with his name, but his personality too. Vamdemon is the king of undead Digimon who was resurrected through the dark arts, obtaining mighty powers in the process. Originally a malicious computer virus that destroyed all the data he absorbed, Vamdemon gained the ability to reanimate the destroyed data as malignant viruses. He has an extremely cruel and cunning personality and is an insidiously difficult Digimon to destroy. However, he cannot demonstrate his full powers outside of the night, as the power is cut in half during the daytime. He has the virus attribute and belongs to the Nightmare Soldiers and the Dark Area Fields. As his special attack, he commands a swarm of bats to ambush his foes, called Night Raid. Other attacks include Bloody Stream, Cloud Minion, Blood Punch, Nightmare Wave, and Dead Scream. Vamdemon has an X-Antibody form. In this form, he looks like he has arms, but just like his face, they are dummies, and his main body is his cape. The internal structure of the Digi-Core has been enhanced, making it possible to demonstrate his full power even during the daytime. His special attacks are Vampire Theory, in which he wraps the enemy in his cape and turns them into a bat, and Bloody Drain, in which he pierces them with his cape's claws and absorbs their data. Venom Vamdemon is a demonic beast with the lower body of a beast and the upper body of a beetle-like shell. He is the true evolved form of Vamdemon, the Lord of Darkness. Vamdemon's gentlemanly conduct gave way to destructive impulses. Venom, who has released his hidden power, has no sense or reason, only the urge to destroy and kill. He has the virus attribute and belongs to the Nightmare Soldiers and Metal Empire Fields. His special attack is Venom Infuse, injecting a destructive computer virus into the body of an enemy, destroying all of the configuration data and halting all functions. Other attacks include Tyrant Savage, Chaos Flame, and Inferno. After defeating several main villains in Digimon Adventure, the Chosen Children were faced with a new obstacle in the form of Vamdemon, another evil created by Apocalypse. It was hard to follow Devimon in the role of an iconic villain, but Vamdemon definitely didn't disappoint with his appearance and presentation. Never losing his cool, he got the longest story arc in the season, proving his patience and power. He had many subordinates of different levels and attributes, but like most villains, he didn't hesitate to torture or kill them if they didn't fit into his plan any longer. After Piemon stole the crests and tags, he entrusted Devimon to hide them across the digital world, and most of them were found by the Chosen Children. However, with no Hikari at that time, the crest ended up in Vamdemon's hands. He used it to look for the 8th child and terrorize the human world along the way. He was skillful with magical powers and tricks that were not part of his main attacks, which is not something many other Digimon villains are capable of. His power of intuition showed when he stumbled upon Plotmon, and even though he didn't know she was the 8th chosen Digimon, he saw something in her eyes that itched his corrupted soul. Unlike Metal Seedramon, whose cockiness was his demise, Vamdemon had a perfectly laid out plan. What he didn't count on is that killing Wizardmon, one of Tailmon's closest friends, would awake the power of Hikari and Tailmon to evolve into Anjuvumon and ultimately defeat his perfect level form. However, when he was defeated, the story got an unexpected turn. Genai found a prophecy inscribed in ancient ruins that read, "First, the sky will be concealed by a flock of bats. The people will chant the name of the undead Digimon King. When the clock strikes the number of the beast, the undead Digimon King will reveal his true form as the beast. Then angels will fly the arrows of hope and light at the loved ones of those whom they are to protect, and a miracle will happen." At exactly 6 o'clock, 6 minutes and 6 seconds, marking the number of the beast, Vamdemon was reborn as Venom Vamdemon. With nothing but rage and destruction in his mind, Venom Vamdemon destroyed everything around him and even absorbed his closest minion Picodevimon because of his thirst for power, before trying to consume all the humans he put in a trance. He was defeated with the joint efforts of the chosen children. He returned once again in the form of Belial Vamdemon, again trying to rule the worlds before being defeated for good. Or was he really? Venom Vamdemon Undead is another form of Venom Vamdemon, a more savage-looking version with a black aura around him. Belial Vamdemon is a Demon Lord Digimon said to be the final form of Vamdemon. Unlike Venom Vamdemon, who pursues power too much and loses intelligence like a beast, Belial Vamdemon, with his knowledge of evil, keeps his power from running wild. He has succeeded in surpassing Venom Vamdemon in all aspects, including intelligence. He has a cruel and ruthless personality and will do whatever it takes to achieve his desires. Belial is a term from the Hebrew Bible and Old Testament that later became personified as the devil or the ruler of the underworld in Christian texts of the New Testament. Different scholars translate the word in different ways, from the worthless one to the one who will never rise. The left and right shoulders of Belial Vamdemon are parasitized with biological artillery Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah were two legendary biblical cities destroyed by God because of their wickedness and sin. Belial Vamdemon has the virus attribute and belongs to the Nightmare Soldier's field. His special attack is Pandemonium Flame, which fires ultra-high heat rays from the Sodom and Gomorrah on both shoulders. Other attacks include Mind Delusion, Black Rain, Crimson Mist, Soul Shield, Melting Blood, and Howling Blood. Neo Vamdemon is the Big Death Star's General of the Moonlight Corps. The Big Death Stars are a group of 6 Digimon themed after the elements which constitute the Wu Xing and the Moon, each representing one of the days of the week. Each general commands their corps according to their own tactics and strategies. Neo Vamdemon is also a member of the Death Generals, 7 generals who are commanded by Dark Nightmon and Bagramon that each rule one of the 7 kingdoms in Digimon Cross Wars. He commands the Vampire Land. With the goal of annihilating hostile forces without leaving a trace, Neo Vamdemon has an army of undead Digimon lurking in various places and annihilating Digimon that move erratically one after another. He has always lived in darkness, forgetting his emotions, and even killing is a part of his life that he neither likes nor dislikes. He just finds the only fulfillment in watching the disappearance of dying Digimon under the moon. Neo Vamdemon can summon the familiar evil will that he creates tirelessly and has the property of loving the spirit of Digimon. The Digimon in the Nightmare Raid, where he fires many evil bills at the enemy, turns into a tragic figure. His Bloody Stream Glade, which allows him to freely extend and retract both of his arms, is a technique that reliably captures the enemy, and after making them vomit all the information, he rips them to pieces with his claws. Then, when the dark energy is concentrated and the moon in his chest is full, he shoots the deadly Gadiac Raid. The enemy sees a ray of light from the end of the darkness that engulfs everything around them, but that light is not the light of hope, but the light of demise. While at the ultimate level, Neo Vamdemon is an undead type Digimon that has the virus attribute. Together with Devimon and Lady Devimon, Neo Vamdemon can evolve into Neo Vamdemon Darkness Mode Vampire Army. His special attack is called Gigacardiac Raid. In Cross Wars, he further fused with Metal Greymon and later fused with Shoutmon to become a real beast. He also has a fusion with the other 6 Death Generals, Dorbikmon, Zamilmon, Splashmon Darkness Mode, Olegmon, Gravimon and Apollomon to become Grand Generamon. This is a form that has no self-will and unleashes the special moves of the 7 against those who enter his field of vision. Volto Boutamon is born from the data of the grudge that fills the dark area. The Hand of Deep Grudge made Piemon forcibly absorb Vamdemon. He doesn't have the ego of Boutamon or Vamdemon and acts with the intention of being held by the hand of deep grudge. His intention is to eradicate light in order to erode the world with darkness. This ultimate level demon man Digimon has the virus attribute. His special attack is multiplying the sword Spiedini he carries on his waist with magic and sending it flying, called Palazzi Valzer. He gradually inflicts pain on the enemy and enjoys their struggling state, and in the end calls it a grand finale and shoots them all at once from all directions to erase their lives. He also has his Quarzione, in which the bullets fired from his 2 guns alla di Polo nest in the enemy's body and devour them from within. His name is inspired by Italian origins as a part of 2 words, volto and bauta. Volto is the Italian term for face and an iconic Venetian mask. It is a heavy mask with a tight fit, typically worn with a headdress, veil, scarf, another mask, or a combination of all 4. Bauta is another iconic mask, originally plain white but with gilded variations. It was regulated by the Venetian government and worn to political decision-making events to provide anonymity. In times of the Venetian Republic, it was a liberating tool that blended nobles and commoners, as it was worn by all classes. Men used it to hide themselves when gambling and indulging in their vices. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please consider supporting me on Patreon or buy me coffee. The links are in the description below. Stay tuned for more Digimon videos. P.S. Make sure to follow my community page on YouTube, as I also post updates about upcoming videos there.